hear me? Like,
Oh, I can hear you.
oh, okay, good. What is this? Episode
love-
number like
Oh, I'm adjusting.
48?
1 second. There ain't a reason you and me. I'm giving my AirPod 1 minute to charge so I don't have to wait for it to. It has.
That was the largest yawn I've ever seen in my entire life. But it was
I didn't
silent.
get to finish it. That's why it was silent. It was going to be really loud, and it's still coming on, but as I was doing it, I heard recording in progress. So, hold on.
Here it comes.
Now I'm on the spot. Alright, everyone.
What shirt do you have on? Is it a former work shirt?
No, it kind of looks like it. It's a. I'm embarrassed to say this.
98.5 the Sports Hub?
98.5 the Sports Hub.
I legitimately thought it was a 98.5 the Sports Hub shirt, but then I went, Nick doesn't associate with sports. I don't.
Yeah, I honestly, no, I don't do sports. But when we went to the seawall, I was like, if somebody sees me, I'm just gonna jump into the water. Like off this wall because this is not me. How are you? We haven't talked in a week.
I know, it's been
That's
a
not
bit.
true. We talked yesterday.
It was good. I've been good. It was good. I go, we haven't talked in a week. It was good.
Oh! You got a nice little break from me.
Didn't mean to. No, I don't like. I need my Nick time.
That sounds funny. What do
I'm
you
good,
do
though.
in your
Yeah.
Nick time?
What do I do in my Nick time?
Yeah.
Oftentimes we record a podcast.
That is true.
I'm doing well. I just been enjoying the summer, you know? I am doing some job searches. I think we should do an episode on that, maybe.
We so should, and I think we should do it soon. I'm excited for our potential guest next week, but more on that later.
Sure. I don't even know if I know our potential guest next week. I might.
I mean, you do, but we don't know. You know. We're winging it. We don't have Dan this week, so we're kind of a mess. For the first time, oh my god, is that window not... There is a window. I think the window's popped out of the screen. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to investigate.
Is your safety in danger?
Oh, no. I'm back. They're power washing the house, so all of the screens are out of the window, but it looked like the top of the window was also just popped out. So I was like, no, I'm not going to jump out of it, but like bees could absolutely come in, and we know how I handle bugs, because that was interesting.
Or even worse, if they're power washing the house and then just high pressure water comes through the window into the house.
Yeah, well, they're not doing it like at the moment. But back to Justin's Nick time.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm having a relaxing day so far. I went to the seawall with my family, and then I was like, I have to be home by 1 o'clock because we're recording a podcast. And now here I am. I haven't done much this week aside from my friend Claire, who was on episode 31 of the podcast, the restaurant episode, is recovering from ankle surgery. So she can't do much, so we've been watching a lot of horror movies. We talked on the phone yesterday about one I think you might like. It's called 47 Meters Down, and it involves being stuck in the cage, stuck at the bottom of the ocean in a cage surrounded by sharks.
Nope.
It sounded like something you'd be interested in.
No.
No, and then we're rewatching American Horror Story Roanoke, which is if you think that's a bad season, if anybody's listening, you're wrong. I'm just like, it's so good, and it's the scariest season ever, to the point that I like called like 4 different people when I was walking to my car that night after watching it.
Isn't that the season that Lady Gaga's on?
One of them. It's the second season that she's on. Yeah, she's on season 5 and 6, but this one she plays like a literal feral creature, with like the most yellow teeth, and yeah. I don't love her character in this one, but I love her character in Hotel. But how are you? What have you been up to?
I've been good. I've been doing a lot of travel, which has been nice. This kind of relates to our topic today, but the other day I was on a plane, and do you know how sometimes as soon as the fasten seatbelt sign turns off when you land, people just like pop out of their seats all of a sudden, and now there's like a TikTok noise that's with it?
Yes.
Like, where the hell do you think you're going? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something really unique the other day. The plane that I was on landed, and this fasten seatbelt sign went off, and the people across the aisle from me got their stuff and sprinted to the front of the plane before the other people could stand up.
That's obnoxious.
It was the strangest thing that I've ever seen. And everyone on the plane was just like, did that just happen? And then they got up to like all the way to row 5, and then
not row 5
stopped because there were people who were standing up. Like, we were in row like 23, and they made it all the way to row 5, and then they were like, I'm like, where do you think you're going, and why do you have to be there so fast? I don't know. It was a really strange thing. Maybe it's just me, but I was like, what? It's kind of annoyed because, like, you know, you have rules of society that you have to follow, where the front of the plane exits first, unless there's a back tunnel entrance. But
we love the back tunnel entrance.
The back
Although there's not one. There's not one.
There was not one on this one.
I've never seen a back entrance to a plane. I mean, I've seen like the side doors.
You've never been deplaned using the front and the back?
No.
Really?
Is that just like a not American thing? Like, is that something that like, because I've never been overseas.
It depends on the airport. Sometimes
I mean, I've been to a fair amount of airports.
Sometimes.
What airline is doing this?
It really depends on the airport. Like, have you ever deplaned a plane? First off, let's just talk about how deplaning is the proper term to exit a plane. That just sounds fake. But have you ever deplaned a plane and not gone through the tunnel, and instead you went down the stairs and got boarded?
No, that's like famous people things.
That happened when I was on the pilgrimage. We got off.
George Miller
and
is
boarded
famous.
onto a bus. This is George Miller's famous. Yeah,
when you went to see the Lord. You went to be with the Lord.
Imagine if the Vatican had a airport.
Meet and greet.
Does the Vatican have an airport?
Oh, you said airport. I was saying meet and greet.
Meet and greet?
Like, you get to actually meet Jesus for 5 minutes.
They would charge you for it.
And he reads you a list of your sins, and then he says, you've been pretty H this year.
Jesus is sounding more and more like Santa Claus.
Well, Santa Claus was based on Jesus, I believe. I know that there's like a Saint Nick, but I believe not based on. I don't know. This might be
pseudoscience with point of two.
Well, yeah, no, it might be false, but I feel like I remember somewhere. It might have been like a homily, honestly, that it was like Santa is sometimes used to teach kids about Jesus and just like the concept, like young kids that like might not necessarily do well with. So this man was nailed to a cross, like, you know. Because that's, you know,
Jesus was visited by Santa on his birthday, and that's why Santa visits all of us on his birthday.
Right.
He was one of the wise men.
He was, actually. I was
Santa,
one of the wise men.
E-Claus.
Yes, exactly. I was one of the wise men, actually. I don't know if you know
were
that.
you? You descendant? Yeah. Or you were the one?
No, I was one of them, but then I walked off and I was like, so... The thing is, Judas, like, you kind of need to betray Jesus, because, like, there's going to be a hit song in 2011 that depends on it. Anyways.
You're getting the passion not the passion play. You're getting the passion mixed up with the nativity.
Yeah, I mean, I know. I just,
No.
it's the Bible. They have some. There are some. Okay. I can time travel if we're gonna also be like, I don't know.
You're the wise man.
Yeah, if we're walking on water, I can also time travel because
Okay.
we were made in Jesus' image.
Okay. Oh, we're plunging into chaos right now. Should we start?
47 meters down.
No. Good. I like that. Good.
They
callback.
didn't walk on water. They
Good
didn't walk
comedic
on water.
skills right there. No,
They didn't walk
sunk
on
and
water.
drowned.
Yeah. R.I.P. But yeah.
Anyway.
Let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about our pet peeves.
Let's talk about things that annoy us.
Yeah, I came up with this topic just because I thought it would be really fun. I feel like it's something. Pet peeves are things that people are really passionate about. I feel like passionate about their like distaste for. Like no one's just like, oh, that's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
Like they're like, it's like, oh my god, I can't stand.
I feel
when
like they're
people do that. Like,
silently.
it just irks me.
I feel like pet peeves are silently filed into your brain, and you don't realize that they annoy you until you're asked what are your pet peeves. And you
Yeah.
have to really
Well,
go
honestly, it was kind of easy for me to come up with a list, but like my list is definitely not conclusive. I feel like the only time I really notice a pet peeve is when it irritates me. That's when I notice it. I'm like, oh my god, I can't stand when people do that. And there are some things on my list that are more than pet peeves. I feel like they're like more in like not just like little things that irk you, but I guess just things that bother us are our topic of discussion. We're gonna call each other out. No, we're not gonna do that.
Well, I guess how do you define a pet peeve? Like a small annoyance versus a large thing that causes your blood pressure to increase?
I mean, I just defined it as, for the purpose of this episode, as an annoyance, or something that really irks me or bothers me. That's either strange, sometimes they're common. I looked up common pet peeves, and I think we should go through those too at the end and just say like, oh yeah, that's one that does or doesn't bother me, or I don't understand that one, etc.
I definitely follow on that list. I'm not very
Yeah,
unique.
a few of mine do
Although
too.
I am unique looking. #pineapple.
Yes. Yeah, you are unique looking. God. Love my just in time. So yeah, let's kick it off. What's something that really bothers you?
Okay, I'll start. So
Yeah.
I don't know what level to start this on. I don't know. I'll start small. So something that really bothers me to, I guess, a pet peeve level is people who stop the microwave before it's done. And like that's really specific, but like it's made even worse when then that same person leaves the extra time just sitting on the microwave and it doesn't go back to like the time.
Interesting. So my microwave does not do that, but you're going to think I'm a heathen because I don't set a time for my microwave. When I'm microwaving something, I always use reheat and stop it at the time that I think it's done.
I hate you. I hate you so much. Why? Why don't you just do like 1 minute? Like a minute's
I don't know.
a solid time
I
to
guess I'm
microwave
just
something.
lazy. Like I'll put in, what did I put in the microwave the other day that only needed rice. It was Ben's original. They don't make rice pilaf anymore, I don't think, which is devastating. But I made rice and it was 90 seconds and I hit reheat, which is 6 minutes on my microwave for some reason. And then I stopped it, 90 seconds in and I was like, this seems good. And then I shut the microwave and I had my rice with my chicken fingers or chicken tenders and some salad.
You microwave
It was great.
salad too?
No, I did not microwave the salad.
Can everyone hear my dog scratching next to me?
I was hoping that was what I was hearing. What is she scratching?
She just scratches the couch to like make a little bed for herself every time.
I
she
love
wants to
that.
lie down.
I love that both of our dogs are elderly. Like, I think it's so funny.
She
They
did
are
this when she
old
was a
women.
puppy, too.
Oh, yeah, no, mine did too. I'm not saying that this is something elderly dogs do, but my dog is literally 16 and a half, which is, like, old, and she still has very much, is, like, a puppy energy in our household. But how old is Jazzy? Jazzy's turning 14?
She just turned 14.
That is, like, very good. I know they're both small dogs, but they're really living their best life.
She is in pretty good health, too, besides being a little deaf and a little anxious, but aren't we all?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Abby, granted, she has cataracts, and you have to yell to get her attention, but it's weird. She can see far distances. She can see somebody, like, 3 houses down coming up the hill, but she can't see right in front of her sometimes.
Interesting.
And Jazzy has a lot to say about that, clearly.
Listen to her.
Apologies to Jazzy.
Ecstatic.
Yeah, apologies to Jazzy if I'm
enough.
insulting you. I didn't mean to call you old to your face.
Lay down.
Does she mind?
She's going in a circle, and now she's laying down. Okay, good.
Yeah, Abby does that too. Does she mind that I called her old?
I don't think
Or is she offended?
She didn't hear it.
Okay.
Like I said, she's a little deaf and a little anxious, but
All right,
they cancel each other out, I guess. Because
yes,
the thing, then you're not as anxious.
Yes, ignorance is bliss. But yeah, so I'm sorry to inform you that I am that person with the microwave, but I've never heard that pet peeve before, so that's interesting.
You've never pressed a number on the microwave ever?
I used to, but now I'm just like...
Why did you change to become...
I don't know. Maybe it was when we got a new microwave. I'm not really sure. Not really sure. Did I ever tell the story about how I used to bring rice to school every day? Did I tell that on the podcast? I feel like I did.
I don't think so. Did you?
No. Well, basically, I'll give the short version because this is not what this episode was about. I used to use the microwave at school because junior year I had surgery on my mouth and I could only eat soft foods. So I was like, I'll bring rice in sometimes it was a thermos. I wasn't recooking the rice at school. It was in a thermos, so it was hot. But I would eat rice because it went down easy. And then once I started feeling better, I was like, wow, I really like this. So I just started bringing rice with a chicken patty, and I'd reheat the chicken patty in the microwave in the lunchroom, and then I would eat that, and people thought I was weird. I also brought shepherd's pie. I definitely have told this story before.
Yeah, maybe you did. It slightly rings a bell.
Yeah,
a small ding.
Yeah, our listeners can enjoy it again. But yeah, so those are my microwave stories. I love the microwave, though. I'll put anything in there.
Well, do you do the second thing that I said? So you
leave
stop
the
the
time
microwave
on it
before it's done, but do you leave the time?
No, I hit off.
Okay, thank God.
I turn it off.
Thank God. Okay, I just can't stand people who just leave. Like, it's not even like the microwave is my main clock in the kitchen. It's just that I can't stand when there's extra time.
Justin Dew does not like you if you do this. If you are an offender, unfriend him right now. He doesn't like you.
Yeah, I'm a terrible human being. Anyway, would you like to dig your own grave with your own pet peeves now so that we can stop talking about mine?
Yes. My biggest pet peeve, it sends shivers down my spine, and I'm not kidding. Oh my God, it just makes the hairs on the back of my neck stand. Like, it's horrible. When people scrape their forks, not even necessarily their knives, but their knives too, on ceramic plates. Oh my God, it literally is the absolute, my dad does it and my mom does it when they're eating. And there have been times where I am getting up and I'm eating in a different room because I cannot listen to this. Or I'll be like, could you cut that any louder? He'll be eating steak and he'll be sawing the plate, and I'm like, I'm gonna get you a plastic fork and a plastic knife. This is annoying. I don't like eating salad in a bowl because you kind of by the nature of the shape of the bowl, you have to put the fork in it and scratch it. I'm cringing right now as I tell this story. I'm very uncomfortable.
So that's like your nails on a chalkboard.
It is, and to be honest, nails on a chalkboard don't bother me. I mean, they're kind of gross. You know what does bother me, though? Oh my God, I feel it when you scratch, shiny paper with your fingernail. Oh my God. I hate that. Do you not like it either, or are you mimicking me?
I'm thinking something else. Well, first off, another friend of ours that I know, I'll tell you off air because I don't want to out that person, also has the silverware version.
Yeah, it's the worst. It's the worst thing ever. Is it Mairead? I just have to put her on the spot. Is it Mairead?
No, it's not Mairead.
Okay, because I know she has a lot of aversions because she wanted to come and talk about them on the show. Shout out Mairead, and let me just be the second person to say, have a great flight, because she's currently on a plane. So we love.
The other thing the reason I made that face, it was because I thought you were going to say this. You ever been erasing with a pencil and then the rubber eraser comes off and you start rubbing the metal of the pencil against the paper?
See, that honestly doesn't bother me, except for the fact that it would rip the paper. I don't mind that. I just don't like when it rips the paper, because that's annoying.
No, rubbing the metal on paper is just horrendous. Terrible.
Yeah, no, I will yell at people at a table to not saw their food. Like, there is a way to do it. Like, when people twirl, the worst is when people are eating spaghetti and they twirl it, but they're twirling the fork straight up, so it's like the squares of the points of the fork are literally scratching.
When I do
your mom, or not your mom, your sister has told us and our entire platform on episode 3 that's what you do.
Yeah. Well, I said it and she's like, yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah. You said you bring the energy. Although you don't bring the energy in a room down. You are very much a bubbly and energetic person, but I guess maybe when you tell stories, I just haven't heard one yet.
I think it's because I like talking about current events, and sometimes current events aren't great.
Yeah, that's true. I thought it was funny when Ashley was like, I also don't like when he like has to analyze the movie as we're watching it. I think that's funny because I also do that. I analyze the movie.
The list that I saw was a common pet peeve. Did you see that same list?
Is it common? Yeah, talking during a movie.
People talking during a movie, yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that doesn't bother me at all.
Doesn't bother me either.
Like, you can talk to me the whole time. I kind of wish that you liked horror movies because we could go see Nope together. Jordan Peele is famous for his social commentary in horror movies, but that's okay.
You know what does annoy me, though? People who don't have body awareness. Like, what that means. Like, not like their own bodies, but like spatial awareness when other people are in there. Like, if you're walking on a sidewalk and two people are talking together and they just stop and they don't realize that like you're behind them, like you have to like walk around them, like that annoys me. Or if you're like walking in a group and it's like an odd number or whatever, like most sidewalks are 2x2, right?
Right.
But if you're walking in like a group of 3 or a group or whatever, like if someone like boxes you off into the street.
Yes, I had a friend in high school that did that. Tom, if you're listening, you know exactly who I'm talking about. But we knew somebody that used to like not purposely, but he'd like basically walk you into the street. Like he walked at an angle to talk to you, but or like walk into you and push you off the sidewalk.
Right. Or like another example, right? If there's someone coming one way and you're going the other way on the sidewalk, like if both groups are 2x2, then naturally you go into single file and pass each other. But if one person, one group doesn't do that, then the other, like, I don't know, just courtesy, you know? Does that make sense?
Yes. We love people who don't have body awareness. But I'm trying to think, I'm looking at my list and trying to... Oh, you've heard this one before. I get very irritated when I'm waiting tables, and someone orders waters for the entire table when the entire table did not ask. Because usually what happens when someone orders waters for the entire table when they didn't ask is they don't drink them. And it takes a lot longer than you would think to fill up 8 waters or however many. So that's... Yeah.
Is that not standard?
What, to bring everyone waters?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in like a fancy restaurant, but I don't bring people waters beforehand. Like the amount of glasses it uses up, like...
Yeah.
it's and no one like most people, unless you ask for a water, don't drink them. So it's just very frustrating and time consuming, and I end up dumping. If it's outside, I dump them on the ground at the end of the night because I can then just stack them. But if it's inside, then you have to bring them like on a tray, or if you don't have a tray, one at a time, and that just is very frustrating to me. I also don't like bad tippers, but that, you know. But we love being good tippers.
Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't think that would be... Well, I guess I've never been a server, but...
It just takes a lot more time than you would think. Think about like when you're filling up like glasses, or like when you go to like McDonald's or something, or just somewhere with like the machine. It's like you do one, and then you put the cover on it, and then you put the straw, and then it's like, all right, 7 more, and then you got to get their drinks. It doubles it because a lot of people get drinks on top of that. Like, and whatever, if it's like they get the drinks from the bar, I don't have to make them. But then if it's like, oh, could I have a Diet Pepsi and a water? But actually, you know what? We'll just get waters all around. And it's like, that's the annoying part. I don't care if you order a water and like like that doesn't bother me. And like, you should be able, you're going out to eat, you're paying, like you should be able to get what you want. And you should be able to order waters for the entire table if you want. I'm not saying it's wrong. It just annoys me when one person orders it for the entire table and the rest of the table then doesn't drink them.
That kind of goes along with something that is on my list. Which,
what is
I don't
it?
know
I'm
if
curious.
This is exactly what you're referring to, but people who assume.
Yes.
Like, for instance, the person who ordered all the waters assumed that everyone wanted a water.
Right, yes.
I can't stand... And you know there's a phrase, you know, like, if you assume, it makes an ass out of you and me. But I just hate people who assume things for people in their group or around them, or, like, don't communicate if there might be... I don't know, like, if someone might differ in opinion, they'll just assume that they're the same, or assume that someone feels that way. Like, let's all communicate all, you know?
Oh, you know what? That's a good point you bring up. You know what I don't like? It doesn't happen so much anymore. It was more like when we were kids, and not between me and you. We didn't know each other when we were kids. But when people don't give context about the person they're talking about, and they just use their name, and they'll be like, so I was with Selena the other day.
Oh,
and
yes.
You know how Selena is.
Selena?
And it's like, I don't know who that is. And they'll be like, you know, and like, you know how, like, sometimes they'll even be like, you know how Selena does blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, I don't know this person. I have zero clue who you're talking about. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like it's not nearly as common anymore for adults, just because, like, you know, like, but I don't know. That just really used to irk me as a kid. I was like, I don't know who you're talking about.
Who you're talking about? Why do you assume that I... Yeah.
I also don't really love when people refer to their parents as mom and dad to you. Like, I was talking to mom. And it's like...
Are you meaning like my mom?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, it's just like, it kind of irks me when people are like, so I was talking to mom the other day, or I have to go see mom. But there are people that I know in my life that I love that do say that, and it doesn't bother me when they say it.
Do your parents refer to each other to you? Like, oh, I was talking... Like, your mom might say, I was talking to dad?
Yes, and I feel like that's totally normal. Because, because can you imagine if, like... I don't even... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, your mom comes home and like, so Derek was talking to me earlier, and like, what, I would be like, please don't speak to me. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't say that. My parents would kill me, but...
I will say sometimes where that gets messed up is my mom will be talking about her dad, my grandfather, and she'll be like, I was talking to dad. I'm sorry, I was talking to Vovated. Like,
yeah, yes, yeah, and that's like, yeah, no, I know, but I just know people, like, I know people to be like, I was talking to mom. I also don't love when, this is me just going in on
like
people.
That's her name, mom.
I don't like when people call their parents, like, daddy when they're like older, or like, and I'm not even talking like because there are sexual connotations sometimes. I'm just saying, like, it seems weird to me when people are like, oh, like, hi daddy, like, and they're like I worked with someone who was like in their like 50s and was like called their and that just was weird to me.
Daddy, mommy after a certain age just feels like
even like I haven't really heard mommy from people, but I've heard mama, and I don't like that either. If
mama.
you're above a certain age.
Hmm.
Like, no. No, thank you. I hate
My
that.
mama.
Yeah. No, not even they'll like say it to their face, and I'm like, no. Yeah,
All right.
I don't like that.
Fair enough.
But I
How
don't
did
even
we
know.
get off
I
of
just
that one?
kind
What
of
was
went.
the original peeve.
I just
Pet peeve.
went in on people. Well, it was people that I don't even know. I said give no context to who they're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
But you said something beforehand. Oh, assuming.
Assuming.
Yes. Yeah. My Nana taught Jordan, my sister, that at a very early age. My mom was like, "That's
How
great
to assume?
grandmotherly advice, Ma." Yeah. No, she goes, "Never assume." And she said, "Because
Oh.
you make an ass out of you and me."
Yeah.
And my mom was like, "That's great grandmotherly advice, Ma." She calls her Ma, which is so funny. I love the like generational, like all of her sisters and her called her parents Ma and Dad, which is funny because then I have some cousins who will refer to their own moms as Ma, like as a joke to be, and like they hate it because they're like, "You're making me feel old." You're making like,
Yeah.
they'll be like, "Ma."
I have a pet peeve that I'm a offender of personally, but I also
Okay.
can't stand when other people do it.
Yeah, same. I do that
Okay.
a lot, or I have those.
It's people who don't have an opinion. Like, this could be in very serious things about, like, oh, I don't know, something political. It's like, okay, I just have an opinion, you know? Like, it's important to have an opinion in life, you know, to have a stance. But also extremely non-serious things like, all right, it's getting close to dinner time. Where do you think we should go for dinner? I don't care. I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not helpful. Like,
yeah.
even if you're not hungry for a specific type of food, or, like, let's just, like, everyone get on their Maps app or Yelp.
Yeah,
or something
literally.
And try and find a restaurant or someplace where we can get takeout. Like, don't just like, I don't care. Like, don't push it off to other people. Like, it's not helpful.
My friend Jenny and I do that to each other all the time. Like, we say,
Oh, yeah.
"Let's get dinner Monday," and it's through text, but it's like, "Where do you want to go? You pick." "No, you pick." "No, I picked last time."
I
We're
do that
just
all the time,
famous
too.
for it,
But
and we
it's like-
both do it.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's hard,
And
but
it
it's
becomes
because
more than a pet peeve for me when we've been trying to find a restaurant for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now
That's
we're really
when-
angry.
that's like the time you punched that kid for it. No, you didn't.
No.
Justin never did that. Justin
I'm not
never
a
did
violent
that.
person.
He's not. I'm not either. But one of my favorite things is we should punch them, and I used to say that anytime there was like a minor inconvenience, and then Will Smith ruined that joke for me, because then it became inappropriate. But yeah, on to my next pet peeve.
Please.
I hate two things that I hate. This is like a texture thing. I hate shrunken clothes and wrinkled clothes. I can't stand when they don't match because I don't know. I feel like it makes my skin crawl. Like it makes me not when they don't match, when they don't fit, or like it's like I have a bunch of clothes that I can't even wear. Like or when they're super wrinkly, or when they get shrunk in the wash, or like I used to wear clothes that like, I mean, fast fashion is bad, but in sophomore year I bought like a bunch of stuff that was like, oh, I like the look of this, and I washed them and they were like ruined in one wash, and I know that's like the point, but yeah, I don't know, it just, that bothers me a lot. And I also can't stand, this makes me gag, I used to be on a swim team when I was a kid, and wet toilet, like, I'm gonna gag, like wet toilet paper.
You actually did get
Yeah,
it. Oh my
yeah,
God.
no, it's literally wet toilet paper on the floor of a bathroom, like a public bathroom, where it's like soaking.
Stop thinking about it. No, don't
I
throw
know,
up.
it's nasty.
Oh my God.
No, I'm not gonna throw up. But I like make myself gag sometimes when like thinking about that stuff, like intentionally too, because it's like, oh, this is so gross. Like I just don't like this. Like, it's like you need to, like, get it. I don't know. I don't like that. I hate that. I used to not even like the feeling of tissues, just in general, when I was a little kid. When someone would ask me to bring them a tissue, like my mom or, like, my Nana, I would, like, grab it with my fingernails and sprint to them. I hated it. I didn't like that. I don't like that.
I don't know anyone who would say that they do like wet toilet paper, though.
Yeah, that's disgusting. Like, that is gross.
Not
I
to
also
bring it back
hate...
up again and make you gag again.
Yeah, I also hate when people don't flush, and like even if they do flush, they didn't go to the bathroom, but they'll leave toilet paper in there, and then you have to like pee on it. Like I will flush the because I hate the sound of like pee hitting wet toilet. Oh,
All
It's
right, let's move on.
nasty. Let's move on. But yeah, that's a huge one. Um, do you have any like feeling ones or sensory ones
Mm,
like that? Because
I mean, like loud chewing. Like people who
that,
just chew with their mouth, not loud chewing, but people who chew with their mouth open and you can
yeah,
see, like,
yeah,
just
I
chew
don't
with your
like
lips
that.
closed, you know?
I'll tell people like if that I'm close to, like very close to, not just friends with like related to. I'll be like, can you stop chewing like a cow, please? Like,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I don't
But
like
I don't
that
know if I
either.
have any other sensory ones or texture ones.
The thing with sensory ones for me sometimes, which makes it even worse, is I'll just get this like intrusive thought of it being in my mouth. So like that's why I'm gagging.
Oh.
I'm thinking about the toilet paper, just like
No, that's we're gonna moving on. Remember, we said we're moving on, Nick.
I'm not even gagging. I'm just coughing. I'm trying to make myself. I don't know.
Listen
We're
to the
moving
sound
on.
of my voice. We're moving
Yes.
on. Here, let's
Okay.
distract you. One of my
Okay.
other pet peeves is, as you know, when I drink alcohol, my face oftentimes gets red,
Mm,
right?
yes.
And I hate a pet peeve, I guess. Again, I don't know. The line is blurry between what is a pet peeve and just like an actual annoyance. But people who bring it up to me,
Yeah.
who are
Like
just
you
like,
don't
hey,
know.
whoa, are you okay? Your face is really red. And I'm like, oh, really? Like, sometimes I play it dumb. Like, oh, really? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know that. Like, am
Yeah.
I okay? Like, am I
Mm-hmm.
having an allergic reaction?
Yes.
But other times I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. Just
Yeah.
people, like, really?
Yeah. I. I mean, I kind of was thinking of that more in like the context of why you've said your face gets red, and then when people will use that, and say it themselves about you, that's like not
Yeah, that's
necessarily
what I'm saying.
inappropriate. Yeah.
That's specifically what I'm saying is when I'm like, oh, my face is red, or like, or I know that my face is red, and people would be like, oh, your face is red.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I was talking about more in the way that like you've been like, oh, it's a thing. You'll say like Asian glow. And
Yes.
then people be like, "Oh, you have your Asian glow." Like that to me, that's not appropriate because A, I'm not Asian, and B, but like that's in the same way that people will. I on this show many times will say that I'm fruity, but I've had people get very comfortable being like, "Oh my god, you're so fruity," and I'm like, I personally don't mind. I don't mind at all. But there, and this is not you. I feel like you look horrified right now. You do not say this. Justin does not call me that.
No, I'm not.
But there are people that have gotten comfortable using that, and I'm like, I personally don't mind, but I feel like you should not be using that without saying any more. I feel like you should not be using that towards other people that might not appreciate it because it is, considered derogatory. Look it up, people, if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Your
You
thing
know,
or my thing?
both. I feel like if you're not a part of a community that should be allowed to use either of those words, then don't use them.
Basically, in my opinion, for my thing, if you want to ask if I'm okay, that's completely fine. But if you want to
Of
be like, oh,
course.
you're glowing, oh,
Yeah, like that's not okay. I mean, maybe right. I mean, and I say maybe you're okay with it. I know you're not because you just said it, but if you hadn't said that, it's like I don't know, but I just feel like I personally would never say that to you. You know
like,
what I mean?
in a given night, and I say that because I've definitely told people in my life in times where I've been drinking, people who are like, or I've said to people, oh, look, I'm glowing. And if I say it in that night, fine. If I don't say it in that night, and you say it to me first, that's when personally I find it problematic.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that.
Oh,
But yeah.
yeah.
I don't like passive aggressiveness, and I feel like you and
Oh, that's on my list.
But yeah, I was gonna say we've talked about this before, and I am, I try not to be, but I am an offender of this sometimes. Like when you're just like frustrated at someone, and like you'll just give them a short answer like over text, and the thing that stinks is oftentimes it's very difficult to tell with me because I usually don't do this. I've been told, and we've talked about it on this show, that I text like I'm angry at people.
Yes.
And I don't mean it. And I think that's just because I have such a expressive personality in person. So when I just write like okay, like I spell it out. I don't even do like the K or whatever. Like people like I've had like for example, my Rachel and Elizabeth have talked about this. They've been like once, I think they asked, I know Rachel has like, oh, I thought you were mad at me. And I was like, oh my God, no, I'm so excited to see you. And I feel like I have to match my like personality, my in-person personality. I feel like I have to add 25 emojis to a message. Because that was one of the things we talked about. I was like, I swear I'm not mad at you. That was in the sister episode, I think. It was.
No, was it that or was it the...
it was 17. Yes, it was the 72 questions that we did instead of 73 for episode 17. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes.
I think something that's related to passive aggressiveness, which again is like, if you have an issue with me, just tell me. But again, I have to admit, I'm also an offender of passive aggressiveness. Ryan DeVilliers, you can share your story if you'd like.
Were you passive aggressive to him?
I was passive aggressive to him. I'll just share. When we were living together, fall of 2020, he but he likes keeping a clean space, but it's not, my definition of clean and his definition of clean aren't necessarily like the same. And so one night I got really annoyed, and so I left. He had piles all over the kitchen. Mm-hmm. And so I left sticky notes, and I put sticky notes in front of the piles, and each one had like a name as if it was like a public art exhibition.
Oh my God. That's really funny though. That's actually really funny.
But it wasn't funny the following morning because he didn't talk to me and was really, really pissed off at me. And I was like, that was bad. I should not have handled it that way. I should have just been like, do you mind cleaning up your piles? But I was like, I don't know if I was tired or what, but I just named them art. And so I did, like, I named each piece, quote unquote piece, which was his pile, and then I did like artist Ryan DeVilliers.
I'm screaming. That is, honestly, I understand I would also have been mad at that, but it's watching it from an outsider's point of view, as like if someone did that on a TV show, that's hysterical. Like,
sure. But in real life, that was like so dumb. Like, I don't know why I did that.
It's like petty. I mean, I've done petty.
I was being petty.
Yeah, I've done petty things too. Like, I even was like mad at my sister once recently, very recently, and I was like, oh, you shouldn't have done that because I'm gonna like, I will make you pay for it somehow. Like, it's and this is just like, no, like, I'm literally like walking on the treadmill at the gym and like, oh, she's gonna wish she never did that. Like, it's just like like I'm getting myself more mad as I'm like running on the treadmill.
It's being but something related to that is I don't like people who can't apologize.
That's on my list too.
Is it? Like, bad apologies that don't apologize specifically for what they did wrong. Or
I'm sorry you feel that way,
vein.
but
yes. Or like in the same vein, people who can't admit that they were wrong.
Yes, I don't like that either. I had an issue with someone at work who said, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I didn't, like, I was just doing this. But that wasn't my intention. Like, okay, not even that wasn't my intention. Just, like, I'm not apologizing for something that, you're taking a certain way. Like, I hate that. And I also hate when people can't accept an apology. And granted, this is something that's on me. Like, I'm aware that it's my issue because I usually accept people's apologies right away because I don't want to hurt their feelings. Like, if someone apologizes to me, I will accept it, like, just because I want to, I want to be a forgiving person. And also, like, I don't want them to think I'm mad at them or, like, I don't know. But when it's the reverse, when someone doesn't accept my apology right away, like, be it in my family, or I even had this happen with a friend freshman year, I was, like, I get angry. It's like, and it's like, accept my apology. And it's like, no, I know you need to give people time. It's my own issue. But because I give others that courtesy, I expect it from other people, and I know that I can't, expect it from other people all the time. Like,
this might be me petty Agetty.
Petty Agetty. Oh my God, our episode title. I kind of love it. I kind of love it.
This might be me being petty again, but petty Agetty.
That is the episode title. I'm gonna fight for it.
This might be me being petty again, but people whose apologies are too, like, general. It's just like, oh, I'm sorry. It's like, what are you apologizing for?
Oh, like when, when they...
It's like, oh, I'm sorry.
I don't even know what I'm apologizing for, but I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I hate when people do that. That's passive aggressive too.
Or like,
I'm sorry.
try and do it like when I apologize, I try and say like, "Oh, I'm sorry for," and then say the exact thing that I'm apologizing for, because I feel like it's more meaningful that way. But people are just like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. That's annoying to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's, like, ingenuine, but I hate when people intentionally will be like, I don't even know what I'm apologizing for, but I'm sorry, like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't know, but, like, whatever. It's like, just stop being, like, irritated with me, which is annoying. Do you have any, like, closing ones?
Any more?
Yeah,
Well,
I have a few more.
I have like 3 more.
Okay.
I talked about the people standing up as soon as the plane lands and unfasten seatbelt sign goes off, but also people who clap when the plane lands.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
That's like, that's their job. Or like that and clap at the end of a movie. But I guess
That doesn't bother me either.
I don't know. The plane landing thing is weird for me, but I don't know. That's just my own thing. Being interrupted during conversation is a big one, and you're about to interrupt me, I'm sure. No.
That was petty Agetty.
Yeah, petty again. And then unsolicited advice.
I don't mind I honestly don't mind a lot of the things that are common pet peeves. Like, I honestly don't even mind people being late, to be honest. Like, because I've also been late.
You're late a lot.
I am late. That was petty Agetty, people.
Petty Agetty.
No, I am late
That
a
has
lot
to
to
be the
this
name
show.
of this episode.
It will be. But I am late a lot to this show, and in general, and sometimes I'm early. Yeah, I know you were, but like, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't know why. I just like I just entertain myself when people are late, I guess. Like, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know why it doesn't bother me, but like, yeah, that one doesn't bother me. It doesn't even bother me when people smack their gum. I actually love that.
Like that.
Yeah. Like, I love when people are like chewing their gum loudly. It's very ASMR to me. In fact, I've listened to videos of people doing that on YouTube to like sleep. Is that weird? You're judging me, I think.
Hold for applause.
The plane has not landed.
What are your other... The couch is falling apart underneath me.
Oh, no.
What are your other pet peeves before we close, or before... Did you want to do the list of...
Yeah, we can... well, my two that I was thinking of are when people say your, when they type your, so, like, awesome, and it's Y-O-U-R. That bothers me. And it also bothers me on, like, Christmas cards when people are like, happy holidays from... And I'll just give, like... I'll use our name. So if your family were to write it and they wrote it from the Doos, D-O-O''S, or the Gervasis, Gervasi''S, that is not... That means from the Gervasis what? From the Doos what? Like, from their dog? Like, from their...
Yeah.
Like, from the Doos house?
Apostrophe.
Like, yeah, that's not what it is. It's just a... There's just an S. Yeah, that bothers me. I don't like that. That makes me want to not like that. My dad said I don't like being ignored, which I don't. I don't like that.
I don't think anyone...
Hair in the drain. Hair in the drain in the shower, because then I have to take a toilet paper and grab it, which makes it wet, and it makes me grossed out. Yeah. I don't like when... let's see.
Are you going through your list or the common ones?
Oh, I don't like when I can feel when I have. There are two whiskers that I have on my face that I can feel with my tongue sometimes when my like beard / mustache gets too long, and I not like to the point that they're in my mouth. They're very small, but like they're just the corners of my mouth, and I can feel them, and I hate it.
I hate when people refer to facial hair as whiskers.
Yeah, I don't really love that either, but that's what it is. It's like a little piece of like hair. I don't even know. But let's see, common pet peeves. We can just do like a yes or no. And we can go down this list.
Yeah, the rapid speed round to finish off.
Okay, let's do this here. 70 of them. No, I'm kidding. But that is the list. There are 70 on this list, but we're not going to go through all of them. Repetitive tapping. That doesn't bother me.
No, I do it. Offender.
Interrupting during a conversation. I do it all the time. It kind of bothers me, but I am a huge offender of that. Texting during a meal.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes for me too. Taking phone calls in public.
No.
Yeah, me neither. FaceTiming without headphones.
No. In fact, I like it because I like listening in on conversations.
Yeah. Me too. Oh my god, scraping silverware. These
Doesn't
people
bother
get
me.
me. These people get me. Cutting lines doesn't really bother me too much.
Yeah, it does. It goes with the whole like rules of society thing, like unspoken rules. Like, let's not break them. You know,
Yeah.
like let's just live together and be okay.
Yeah. Unsolicited advice is on here, which I know you're not. One-uppers. What are your thoughts on that when someone has to one-up a story?
If they're a repeated offender, yes. But if someone genuinely has a better story than mine, then like that's awesome. They're living a great life.
Yeah. There's two. Cracking knuckles. That can sometimes bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
And then people who adopt the interest or habits of everything, like of every new significant other or friend. So when people start to like mimic all of your interests, that bothers me.
Well, if they do it entirely, like they become that person, then yes.
Yes,
but like,
yes. Like when people
I
are just
feel
like,
like
"Oh,
that's
I
just
love that
natural.
too." No, part of it is, and I mean that's just human. We all do it. I really can't think of many people who do that, but there are some people that like become upset, and it's like, no, that's my thing. Sorry. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Being rude to customer service representatives, I don't like that. I don't like when people do that.
I think it's fine to be assertive, but not rude.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a huge difference. And yeah, that's honestly, those are the only ones I'm seeing on this list that are worth noting. So,
all right.
Losing things. Oh my god, I know. Sorry. I know people get irritated at me for losing things because I lose things all the time. We almost always have to go back to my car to like lock the key, or turn the lights. Like I'm just very forgetful. So turn the headlights off, or oh, I forgot my phone in my car, or like we'll be trying to get out the door and I'm looking for my keys. Like I know Tom got irritated with me. I know Elizabeth and Rachel probably got irritated with me. I'm sure you've gotten irritated with me before. I think Dan's gotten irritated with me before. In fact, I can remember a time that I couldn't find something. I know my sophomore roommates got annoyed with me when I didn't have my key the entire year. And with that, my name is Nick Gervasi.
And my name is Justin Dew.
You can reach us at our email, pointofdewpodcast@gmail.com, or by sending us a voice message on our website, anchor.fm/pointofdew. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Point of Dew Podcast and Twitter at Point of Dew. If you enjoy our show, give us a rating or review in the Apple Podcast Store, or share us with a friend or family member. We'd really appreciate it and are truly grateful for your support. As always, we hope you have a great week. Thank you for listening, and until next time, H.
Down our stories we help you to decide will they will see the end, of course, because they will carry on if the other side is a sad story. We'll make good out of it then, because we count the times when we were together. Now we're back again, but this time the colors will not be the same.